course, that exists. But they love the theater. Members of Congress love the theater.
For the record, I spit on corporations. They are woke and they are abusive of labor at the same time. So you're not going to get any defense from me or any conservative of big corporations.
Recently, Anna Kasparian did a debate with Prager, Dennis Prager of PragerU fame. I caught the first 5 to 10 minutes, and I had some critique. The whole debate is 30 minutes long, and I'm gonna see how far we can get, and if things pick up from there. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. I don't know. But yeah, let's do a debate review of Anna Kasparian versus Dennis Prager.
To have them on our shows, we ache to debate them, but they won't debate us, and they won't come on our shows, and they won't have us on their shows. I have offered tens of thousands of dollars to any left-wing columnist on the New York Times to debate me anywhere they want. They could choose the moderator, they could choose the audience, and serious money.
Joining us now is...
We just watched the video. Oh my God.
This video is brought...
We just watched this video where she goes over why what he's doing is dishonest. He has experience debating while the New York Times.
Thousands of dollars to any left-wing columnist on the New York Times.
Any left-wing columnist on the New York Times. This is a dishonest tactic through and through. And like Sarah Z said, God, that's hard. Accepting debate just because someone offers it is probably not the best idea. Probably not the best. If you're a right-winger, however, you should accept all debates from anyone who offers it. Through and through. If you're a left-winger, do not do that.
Times to debate me anywhere they want. They could choose the moderator, they could choose the audience, and serious money.
Joining us now is Dennis Prager, the man you just saw in that.
And I don't know if Anna Kasparian is the best debater, unfortunately. I do not know.
Video. And Dennis, I guess you could call TYT acetaminophen because we don't want you to ache. We want to make sure we give...
Let's not speed it up that much.
You an opportunity to feel good by debating someone on the left.
Funny, 'cause I was thinking, if only you were a New York Times columnist, how much money you'd be making now.
Well, I'm a little more honest than a New York Times columnist, so this will be a great conversation. Thank you for doing it. So I wanted to...
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. So I wanted to just kind of start off with, I guess, disagreeing with the notion that the left is afraid to have these kinds of discussions or debates. In fact, you had tweeted that video that we started this conversation with, and there were a lot of responses from prominent individuals on the left. I want to give you a few examples, starting with Vosh, who's a big Twitch streamer. He's got a big YouTube channel as well. He says, "You couldn't be more wrong. I love spirited debate in the free marketplace of ideas." He even provided his email and would love to have that conversation with you. My good friend Ben Burgess also responded. He's a great guy. He says, "Hi Dennis, I'd be delighted to chat with you either on my show or you could host it through PragerU, or I'm sure Modern Day Debate or some other neutral platform would be happy to host it." And on multiple occasions, I noticed that Sam Seder would also love to debate you. So he responded in that tweet as well, saying available and adding, Tim Pool knows what lengths he would go to not even be on the same stage as me, right, Tim? So there's some drama with Tim Pool, but just wanted to let you know you don't have to ache anymore. There are lots of people on the left who want to debate you.
And the people who are willing to debate him on the left are people who are skilled debaters. I'm not sure about Ben Burgess, but Sam Seder is absolutely a skilled debater. Vosh, like I've said, is absolutely a skilled debater. Dennis Prager isn't going to do that, which unfortunately is probably why he's on TYT. That's probably why.
Oh, I have no doubt that there are a lot of people on the left. The issue that I raised was people at the New York Times And people like you, for example, you pleasantly surprised me by doing this, to be perfectly honest. And by the way, I think proof of my theory is a piece that I read on some left-wing or progressive site just today about how angry many of your viewers are that you're having me on. Whereas I will tell you, I would get no such feedback from the right if I had a left-wing person on my show. They would be thrilled. So I still stand by my belief that
which is a culture that we need to change.
The people certainly in the higher echelons of the left don't want to debate, but it's probably not worth debating whether there would be such a debate. I presume we're having one now,
yes,
and
yes.
I'm glad we are.
Well, look, the left isn't a monolith. There's a lot of disagreement on the left. There's certainly a lot of disagreement on things that I say on this show on various issues, even when it comes to crime. I'm sure you've noticed some of the backlash I've received in that regard as well. However, I will say there is a reason why the right wing tends to be more open to having these kinds of discussions and debates, and the left wing gets a little uneasy about it. And it's because there has been this prevalence of prominent figures who identify as the left, right, or on the left, who then later start to, cozy up to right-wing figures, and then it turns out that they completely move to the right wing because they're essentially paid to do it. They're used as tools by the right wing to essentially spew right-wing talking points while purporting to still be on the left. In fact, Dave Rubin's a great example of that. Dave Rubin used to work with us. He identified as someone on the left. Yeah, go ahead.
Forgive me, Anna. Dave Rubin made a video for PragerU, why I left the left.
Oh, I know.
He does not, in fact, state to the world that he's still on the left. I don't know who you have in mind, so I can only address the one name that you gave. Dave Rubin acknowledges he's not on the left.
It's interesting because if I recall correctly, you had a conversation with Dave Rubin and how incredibly important it was that he was engaging in these discussions with you.
By the way, so far, the first 5 minutes, perfectly fine. Anna is doing great. She's holding Dennis Prager's feet to the fire. She's not accepting what he's saying at face value. She's pushing back, but she's doing so in a good faith manner.
Discussions with the right wing, and you stated something very specific. I actually want to go to that video, and I want to get your thoughts. Maybe you can elaborate on what you meant in this video. Let's watch.
I want you to continue to say you're a liberal because you're of great use to good values.
Well, don't worry, I'm not doing it for your use of me. I'm doing it for myself.
No. Yeah. It's like Christians who say to me, we would love you to come to Christ, but you are so valuable to us as a Jew when you defend us Christians. Yeah. And they're right. You are valuable in the best sense of the word because America needs people who are clearly liberal and to be honest, and fall into the category of kosher as gay.
By the way, completely non sequitur. Dennis Prager, frequent cigar smoker, comfortable with holding the cigar, waving his arms around. Notice Dave's hands. Notice them.
Yeah. To say, hey, hello, the conservatives are not hate mongers. Hello, they should be heard. And maybe every so often you should read National Review or watch a PragerU video.
So, Mr. Prager, you can understand why members of the left would feel a little uneasy when these discussions take place, because usually it's a sign that someone on the left got lured in with some billionaire cash, like Dave Rubin did.
Oh, okay. Well, that's an unfair statement. I don't accuse people on the left of having their positions because of money, and I don't think you should do that with regard to conservatives.
Because Alan
Dershowitz is not a right winger, but Alan Dershowitz said to me, this Harvard professor who's very well known, he's lost all his friends because he defended Donald Trump in court. He didn't even vote for Donald Trump. Just merely defending his right to have a defense was enough for him to lose his friends. The assumption on the left is that if you're a conservative, you're a despicable human being. And this is a perfect example. The only reason Dave Rubin would have done it was for money. I don't know anybody on my side of the spectrum who holds their positions because of money. There's a hell of a lot more money on the left anyway.
Really?
If you want to get
money. How is PragerU funded?
Completely dishonest. Completely dishonest. However, I don't think this is the best line for Anna to go down. And that's because you can't prove it unless someone says it. Unless someone has admitted to just holding these views for clout, like Hinkleberry. If you don't have that proof, you can't really say that. Now, I believe it. I will say it right here and now. But yeah, Dave Rubin, obviously, Jimmy Dore, obviously, they hold the views they do today because of the money. Obviously. You can analyze the timeline of them changing their views, the money rising, the viewership, which is why having a good moral compass is important. So anyway, that's an answer. But yeah, I don't think this is the best line for Anna to go down based on that. We don't know. We can only speculate.
Washington Post.
How is Prager
you
funded?
Washington Post by people on the.
How is TYT funded, Anna? TYT funding. Let's go here. I don't want some. Crowdfunding. Oh. $20 million in venture capital funding. This was 2017. I don't know how it looks today. But yeah, not the best line
the internet and by wealthy donors. But PragerU is pittance compared to the money that is available just to BLM. How much money was given to Black Lives Matter by the Ford
Not by
Foundation
billionaire donors. They certainly received quite a bit of money from individuals who wanted to donate to that cause. Okay, but if you think there's a lot of money on the left, I mean, you would be mistaken. But I do want to move off this because there are.
And here is where she wants to move off it. She was unfortunately the one that brought this up. She was the one that brought up this line of inquiry.
Actual topics, issues that are worth discussing.
The richest zip codes vote Democrat. The wealth today in America is disproportionately.
That doesn't mean anything.
On behalf of Democrats and the left wing. That's either a fact or not. Anybody could look it up.
But again, this line of questioning is. I mean, he's not wrong, is he? He's completely correct that the rich people, you saw this with Martha's Vineyard, they are liberals through and through. Oh my God. However, still a bad line of inquiry from Anna. It's not. Just because the people who vote liberal tend to be more wealthy doesn't mean they give that wealth to political mouthpieces. I wish they did, but they don't.
There's a difference between voters in wealthy parts of the country and who ends up serving as donors, both for politicians, corporate politicians, of course, and for right-wing media. If you think left-wing media has major billionaire donors, again, you'd sadly be mistaken. But the information regarding PragerU, which, by the way, you're listed as an organization that's tax exempt, correct? And you're not supposed to be talking about political issues. But last time I checked, PragerU talks about a lot of political issues.
Well, then you haven't checked in a long time. For example, we never did a single video on Donald Trump. And that's not exactly political. We just did we put out a video a week. So we have 500 videos out about, and we just put out one on Millard Fillmore. If you consider that political,
Riveting.
Most people never heard of it. We're doing every single president. Many of our videos, probably at least half, are purely educational. So to tell you about every president, for example, Democrat or Republican, by some noted historian, it's a caricature of PragerU. For you to say that we are largely political.
PragerU describes itself as conservative. Like it's a
Yes, I
conservative
understand that.
take,
Conservative,
which
okay.
by the nature of it being conservative is political.
Yeah.
But listen, it is what it is.
No,
I do want to move on to other issues because there are actual
but you
political
can't-
issues that you're here to discuss.
You can't make a point and then not be responsive.
Okay.
And he's correct there.
Yes, you can be conservative, for example, socially, and not specifically. Politically generally means vote Republican. We don't tell people to vote anyway in any direction. But yes, we do believe that America is the finest country ever founded. If that makes us political, we're political.
So I want to move on to other statements you've made, other issues. You do focus on culture war related issues, your distaste, hatred for secularism. I want to start off without putting words in your mouth. To show a video of something you said just yesterday on the Dennis Prager show that I thought was fascinating. So let's take a look at that. And
So here, I haven't watched further than this. Because, yeah, I don't think Anna handled the first 10 minutes of this debate as well as she could have. She started off a bit too abrasive. That might. I'm not beyond sexism. Okay, let's just put that out there. I'm not beyond sexism. This might be a bit of sexism. However, we live in a sexist society. You have to factor that in. You can't assume we live 50 years in the future where equality is more realized than it is today. You can't assume that. So you have to tailor how you sound based on that, unfortunately. So I don't think Anna Kasparian came off as good as she could have in the beginning. Usually when I watch debates that I think are, unless they have some prior interaction which makes them more antagonistic towards each other, I think you should start off with a more friendly discussion, more friendly tone. Unfortunately for Anna, Dennis Prager has a lot of history of saying horrible and vile things. So she comes into it with that knowledge, which colors how she speaks to him. Dennis Prager's audience, however, they don't agree with her, which is why she has to expose him for how vile he is until at which point she can have a more antagonistic, more direct approach to his personality, let's say.
we'll discuss.
The computer sticker phenomenon is crazy. It was actually one of the biggest shocks.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
On your computer right here, people, instead of just having a blank back,
oh, I see.
they would
Send
put
messages.
Yes. It would either
And
be
what was the common message?
I heart women or just the
no.
female sign, the circle and
Wait,
the arrow.
I heart women on a woman's computer?
Yes.
All of this is proof to me that women need men. These women.
What? Because they have stickers?
Women are manless. They may have hookups, but they're manless. And they might have been fatherless too. Ending with my generation, I would say, ending with the baby boomers, but certainly through then, a young woman thought a lot about, do I have a boyfriend? Mm-hmm. What will my wedding be like? What will I wear? Who will be there? Who will the guy be? That I believe is healthy and normal for a young woman. Mm-hmm. It's a good thing. That has been knocked out by the feminist left. And if you think about it, you're a weak female.
Again, Anna, remember, his audience don't see this as a bad thing. they don't necessarily agree with the underlying message. All of them. Most of them probably do, but not all of them. And the way I would approach this, now I might not be right in this. I could be completely off. Maybe she does approach it this way. But based on her expression here and based on the prior interaction, she isn't going to approach this in a good way, in my opinion. What I would say here is I would try to make him be more explicit. Because what he said is, people are lonely. What's so hard with that? What's so harmful? From his audience perspective, that's what they hear when he says this. People are lonely. Hookup culture makes people lonely, which there is some truth to. But yeah, so you have to make him be more explicit in this. And the way you do that is you have to be more friendly. Can you tell me what you meant by this? Have him talk about how he doesn't enjoy gay culture. He doesn't like it. And then ask him, well, aren't you friends with Dave Rubin? And you get him down that path and you expose him as a hypocrite. As someone who hates his own friends. Know how many people that's going to convince on his side, because his people are already horrible people. Most of them. But again, if they change their minds, we let them in. Moving on.
So fascinating statements there. You seem to believe that women who love themselves, who love women, who feel confident about being women, tend to be manless and lonely. Do you genuinely think that? Do you think I'm manless and lonely? I think women rock.
I said that in general, women need men, and I've said 1,000 times that in general, men need women. The fact that that's controversial is a statement about what's happened to our culture.
But you got triggered by a story about women who have laptop stickers that just say positive things about women. Your mind immediately went to.
I was wrong. I thought she was going to attack him for the message he was saying. She actually attacked him for his reaction. That's a good. I like that. I like that. It's because his side always talks about how triggered snowflakes the left is. Here, he was a triggered snowflake, and Anna is attacking that. Good. Excellent inquiry here.
They might have daddy issues and they're lonely, they need men. I want to understand your thinking. Like, okay, how do you get to that conclusion?
It's if you had a heterosexual man, with 97% of men are heterosexual, with a sticker, I love men, you would wonder why. Why don't men have stickers, I love men, but you think it's perfectly normal and a non-issue that women would have stickers, I love women? What is the point of saying that? It is worthy of a question. And I don't think that 50 years ago, this would have been, obviously there were no laptops then, but I don't think it would have been a common sentiment. I don't understand why women would need to announce, I love women, if they're not a gay woman. You tell me.
Who cares? Why is that any of his issue? Who cares?
I'm curious. What does that signify?
Well, I mean, listen, as an individual who values free speech and freedom of expression, I think that women and men can have whatever laptop stickers they want.
I was completely wrong. Bad opening from Anna. Excellent continuation. Excellent continuation. I wonder if how many people outside of TYT watches this. If they do, and if they get past the first 10 minutes, I think Anna's line of questioning will sow a seed of doubt in their head. Because listen,
speech and freedom of expression, I think that women and men can have whatever laptop.
Because what she's doing here, She is tailoring her message, her values, in a way that speaks to conservatives. That's a great way to question this.
Top stickers they want. And the reason why there is a difference between men and women in regard to those laptop stickers is because, I mean, when you really think about it, women didn't have the right to vote for a very long time. Women didn't even have the ability to apply for a credit card until the 1970s. There have been equality issues when it comes to men and women. Now, we're getting a lot better, that's for sure. But first of all, I don't agree that women have laptop stickers that just simply say, I love women. It's probably some sort of empowering statement for women, but that doesn't translate to, oh, I'm a lonely, manless person, and I should go back to the good old days when women sat around thinking about whether or not they're gonna. She controls the flow of the conversation here, and right now she is grandstanding. Unfortunately, that's not gonna make people be open to her words. They're just gonna sit here like I felt right now, actually. What's Dennis' response to all of this? I want to hear how Dennis, because we already know Anna's argument. We already know Anna's argument. Why does this matter? People have free speech. I like free speech. I like freedom. You purport to like freedom. Why does this matter? Why did it trigger you? We already know that. Why? So he's trying to interject because she's grandstanding, and he's signaling to her, finish your point, finish your sentence, and let me speak. Bad look, Anna, unfortunately. Find a husband and get married. You seem to push your values and your views on relationships onto other people.
Let him speak.
And what I'm trying to get you to understand is, rather than making generalizations about what's best for women,
all this after
maybe allow people to live their lives as they see fit, have a belief system as they see fit. Why do you feel the need to force your beliefs onto other people? Go ahead.
First of all, okay, I don't understand the word force. The fact that you think that if I offer my opinion, I'm forcing people to adopt it is a bit odd.
You don't believe that America should be secular. Okay. So what does that mean?
Wait. Let me finish that point.
Sure, go ahead.
I believe that I have the right, as you do, to offer people thoughts on what might be a better and happier life for them. I've written a book on happiness, which has touched a lot of lives if one wants to read the reviews on Amazon. I believe, again, that in general, of course, every generalization has exceptions. Most women will have a better and happier life with a good man, and most men will have a happier and better life with a good woman. I don't know why that is controversial to state. All I know is that having adopted the view that career is more important than marriage has led to more depressed women than anything that preceded it. There are more young women today depressed than at any time in American history. This is in the New York Times. This is not from a right-wing source. I think feminism has made women more miserable than happy.
So I'm gonna address that in just a second, but I want to address what you said prior to that very quickly. So listen, I don't have a problem with someone saying women are likely to be happier in life if they find a partner to share their life with. I don't think that that's a controversial statement. What is controversial is you seeming to imply that feeling confident or supportive toward women and being happy, single or in a relationship, that it's mutually exclusive. Like, you can't be supportive of women and have a happy life.
I don't know if I like this message, because Dennis Prager isn't saying, or he's not explicitly saying, women shouldn't support other women necessarily. He just believes that lesbians shouldn't exist. That's his core argument. That's what you should attack.
Weird connection that you tried to make there makes no sense. What was the final thing that you said?
I was speaking about the depression among women in today's time.
That's a great point. And you know what? That's right. There's actually increasing rates of depression and anxiety among men and women. I think that's important to point out. And you are concluding.
This is why I like Anna. I've had my issues with Cenk for ages. Anna have always come across to me as someone with a good moral compass. She doesn't ignore male suffering. And that's one of the reasons why I liked Vosh as well. He never ignored male suffering. He's never ignored male suffering. He's put it into context, but he doesn't ignore it. A lot of people on the left likes to just ignore it, tell them to man up, which is really strange to me. It's always been really strange to me. I used to be a men's rights activist. Don't tell this anyone, please. However, I was a left-wing men's rights activist. Very important. Because I believe in equality. Very important. Very, very important. I just thought, you know what? Feminism got the female thing covered. They got women down. They got their backs. I didn't see them have men's backs in a lot of issues. And I tried when I was fairly prominent men's rights activist here in Sweden. Fairly prominent, actually, on that scene. I didn't see a lot of women, a lot of feminists care about failing male grades, for example. And I found that very strange. Very strange. Anyway, that's why I like Anna. That's my point. I like Anna because she's always kept it real. Always. She's called out Cenk for ignoring male suffering, for example. On air.
That it's because of, I guess, the breakdown of the traditional families and people who remain single.
I think that the belief that many young women
Good,
have,
Anna. Great.
That you
if they find
a man,
allow
it's a great thing, but the thing that will really bring them joy in life is career, has misled massive numbers of women into a less happy life. Career is not as terrific as the feminists
says the
portrayed
career
it
guy
as being.
Mm-hmm.
The joy available for most women with a good husband and making a family is incomparably more than from a career.
Have you considered some of the economic issues within this country that don't really give women a choice as to whether or not they should focus on a career?
That's a very real issue. I fully acknowledge that. That if you don't have a career to fall back on and there's a divorce, that you're entirely right. That is not the same thing as saying career is going to give you a great deal of meaning and happiness like a marriage will. You're entirely right. Economically speaking, there is value in having a fallback career. I fully acknowledge that.
Is
but
Dennis
I'm going
Prager
further than
a
that
socialist?
because the idea that a family can live in a single income household today is laughable. That is incredibly difficult to do.
Yeah.
And so while the right wing and you yourself seem to have this idea that, well, women should focus on marriage, they should focus on building a family. First of all, you can't force anyone to do that, right? But let's say you want to encourage women to focus on that. You want to give them the choice, but you want to encourage them. A great way to encourage them is to create an economic system in which people feel comfortable knowing that they can survive on a single income household. I'm talking about when they're married, okay? Both individuals in a marriage have to work in order to be able to pay their rent, pay their mortgage, put food on the table for their children, educate their children. Wages have remained stagnant since the 1970s. Women don't have a choice as to whether or not they can work or whether or not they should just focus on raising children.
I love this line of questioning from Anna. It's an obvious line of questioning, but I like it. And I think she delivers it in a great way here. She identifies a one aspect of his core argument. Women should focus on marriage. Okay, that's your opinion. Fine. But how do you allow them to focus on marriage? The right has no solutions to this. Zero solutions to this.
They don't have the choice. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Right, and we differ on that because the reason that many women, not all, but perhaps most even, are working is not just economic, especially certainly in the upper class, upper middle class, and even part of the middle class. It is because they believe that their self-worth derives more from work than it does from family. If a girl got up in a high school or college class, let's say a professor or a teacher said, so women, I mean, to the extent that they can now say that, because you can't say boys and girls in many elementary schools, because we're told by your side that sex is not binary. But let's say they say, we'd like the women in this class, please stand up and tell us what your vision for your life is. If a girl got up in a college class and said, to be honest.
Fan snackar du om?
My greatest hope in life is for a good marriage and to make a family. She would be regarded as almost...
Yeah, why are you going to college then? What's the fucking point of going to college if all you want is a good marriage? If that's your life goal? If that's your life's goal, awesome, go for it. Have fun, find your husband. God damn, is he ugly. Find your husband and be happy. But why would you go to college if that's your life goal? I hope Anna asks him that. I doubt he might spill some more vile shit, but who knows?
A freak.
Would she? I mean, what is that based on? Yes, what evidence do you have to back that up?
That's true.
I live in the real world.
So do I.
Okay, and you believe that if a girl got up and said that, she would be regarded with the same respect as the girl who said, I'd like to be a physicist?
I believe that most normal people are too busy thinking about how they need to survive and are less concerned about the aspirations of individuals in their classroom.
Yeah.
And so if you have data backing up that women who want to be homemakers are persecuted in this country, I'd love to see that data. And I wouldn't agree with that persecution.
I never said they're persecuted.
You seem to imply that they're being victimized by wanting to be homemakers, and I just don't buy it.
Okay, fine, so good. This is a classic example of what I say on my radio show. I prefer clarity to agreement. You think that a girl who got up in a college class and said, my most fervent dream is to have a happy marriage and a family, will be regarded with the same respect as a girl who said, I'd like to be a physician or a physicist. We differ, perfect. Okay.
All right, and again, if you have data backing up what you're saying, then I'm happy to admit I'm wrong.
Data? The teachers don't do this and then set it to a computer.
So you're just declaring, you're making up stories.
Good line of questioning from Anna. I like it. It's strong. It's direct. It exposes him as just saying stuff. Just believing and expressing it, and therefore it is. I like this.
Stories about how women are treated in the classroom, and we're just supposed to buy it? Okay.
We're each giving the perception of reality that we have. Not every.
No. You made, Dennis Prager, you made a affirmative. You took an affirmative stance. It is the burden of proof is on you. Prager University. You have university in your channel name. And you do not know that.
Perception of reality has a database. Otherwise, one is a functional moron if one cannot make conclusions about life without data.
Okay, all right. So let's move on to right-wing violence.
Good.
Following the Buffalo supermarket shooting, which of course was inspired by a belief in a conspiracy theory that whites are being replaced with minorities in this country purposely to keep Democrats in power. You felt the need to kind of downplay right-wing extremism in this country. And you said, quote, this man represents such an infinitesimally small segment of the white population. Now, while that statement might be literally true, I don't think that the white population in America mostly consists of domestic terrorists, so I agree with you on that. It seems like you kind of want to brush aside the very real problem we're having in this country with political violence, politically motivated violence, and I want to give you a few other examples. For instance, the Southern Poverty Law Center did a poll and found that 7 out of 10 Republican voters believe in that white replacement conspiracy theory. Are you concerned about that at all?
Good line of questioning. No grandstanding. You gave one example. You said, you know what? I want to give one more. You gave it. It's short. It's quick. It's poignant. Good line of questioning, Anna.
Right now, we have had, I believe, 2 million illegal immigrants, and the Democratic president of the United States has opened our border.
Nothing to do with the question.
There was attempt to close the border to illegal immigration. So I will ask you, and I mean this is not even as a challenge. I'm curious. Why do you think people on the left want millions of people to come in legally or illegally?
Well, let's first discuss the inaccuracies in your statement. Number one, there are legal means to immigrate into the United States. So, for instance, the asylum seekers who are being used as political pawns by people like Texas Governor Greg Abbott, I'm not done, or Florida's Governor Ron DeSantis.
Good. You haven't made your point yet. You've just made a statement. I like this. It's not grandstanding yet. However, because of the first 10 minutes, I believe his audience, if they ever see this, if they ever come 24 minutes into the video, they will probably see this as grandstanding, unfortunately.
They came into this country seeking asylum, meaning they are here legally, and they are awaiting a federal judge, an immigration judge, to make a decision about their asylum status. Okay, so the idea that the border is open and people are just pouring in illegally is inaccurate.
Yes, no, it is accurate.
No, it's inaccurate.
Good. So this is a perfect example of where we differ, and there's no reconciling.
However, the first thing Anna said was, first, let's discuss your things. And then she realized, you know what? I have answers to this. She gave them. But now they're no longer discussing right-wing extremism, extremist violence. I don't like that. Anna should have said, you know what? That's a different topic. We're discussing this.
Either you're right or I'm right. Either millions are coming in illegally, but whom you are calling legal because they're all seeking asylum. Do I hear you correctly?
We have a system in place for asylum seekers. So are you saying that we should do away with that system? And if you are saying that, then it would require members of Congress to pass legislation that reforms our immigration system. But I mean, I think you'll agree with the statement. Members of Congress have no interest in passing any legislation or engaging in any immigration reform. We have companies and businesses that are exploiting undocumented immigrants for cheap labor, and they have no recourse. That exists. But they love the theater. Members of Congress love the theater.
For the record, I spit on corporations. They are woke and they are abusive of labor at the same time. So you're not going to get any defense from me or any conservative of big corporations. I can't stand that. The fact that Disney will not even allow people at their amusement parks to say boys and girls anymore gives you an idea of how sick they have become in the wokeness of this non-binary evil. And that I do believe is evil.
He's not wrong that there are people who say these things. There are people who express this view. The amount of people expressing that view is guaranteed. This is my feeling of the world. The amount of people expressing that view is infinitesimal compared to right-wing extremism today. Infinitesimal.
To tell little children you don't know if you're a boy or a girl until you decide, do you think that's healthy?
I think it's unhealthy to spend the amount of time you spend in judging decisions that parents make about their own children. I think it's none of your business. I don't think it's anyone's business. And schools are not doing anything close to what the right wing is describing. I mean, it is amazing because you talk about Alan Dershowitz, who had written a column in the New York Times about how it should be okay to have sex with underage girls, okay? You don't call him a groomer, but you'll call our educators who have done nothing wrong, just want to create an environment that's welcoming to all students. You'll call them groomers, you'll defame them as some sort of sexual predators, and it's unacceptable. Just being clear about that.
I've never called them groomers. You have the wrong guy. But a teacher that has...
Ooh, then is Prager groomers? Has he never? Ooh.
Because this is one thing else, or mutilated. Yeah. Oh, grooming, such a strong word.
People on his platform has probably said it.
Thanks, Mr. Prager. I really want your piece of Imperial Germany. Do you want me to be specific? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And if you would elaborate on
children, children, church, and Kinderkirche, and children, church, and
I think that was a net positive, and also
or optimism. I don't blame you at all for it. Doesn't make the
no. Okay, So maybe he hasn't said it himself. People on his platform bearing his name absolutely have said it for sure.
The kids in kindergarten attend a drag queen story hour to see a guy in a dress dancing erotically in front of them. Those teachers are what we would have called 10 years ago sick. They are depriving children of sexual innocence. And if that's not a sin on the left needs to do a lot of introspection.
I would love for you to apply standards like that to the former president of the United States, who you supported, who you endorsed. You have completely minimized some of the scandals that he was involved in, including paying hush money to adult entertainers he had cheated on his pregnant wife with. I'm bringing that up because you have this weird standard when it comes to our educators, but no standards when it comes to a person who leads the country, who children look to as a role model. But anyway, we only have a few more minutes left.
No. If you throw out a point, you have to allow me to respond.
Okay, go ahead. We're running out of time. We have a hard out, so go ahead.
When I was a child, my father didn't say to me, I want you to look to Lyndon Johnson as a role model. This notion that the president's private life, John F. Kennedy had orgies at the White House. Okay, do you speak about that? I don't care about presidents' private lives, you do. I care about sexualizing children, you don't.
I care about fighting back against lies regarding educators sexualizing children. That is not happening, but you guys do love to defame educators who are already underpaid, undervalued, and should be treated a lot better in this country. So I would love to continue this conversation. Unfortunately, we're running out of time. I'd love to invite you to our members only bonus episode if you're willing to stay for another 30 minutes. I don't know if you're open to that.
Yeah, I am.
Fantastic. Okay, great.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it.
I'm a member, so I won't be able to watch. Yeah, I think the intro did Anna dirty in this one. The rest of the debate, I think Anna did excellent, absolutely excellent. The first 10 minutes, though, she grandstanded. She said they were going to move on, but then she kept going, and then she said we're going to move on again, and then it didn't happen. That's why I was afraid it was going to be a lot more of a shit show than it was. But no, Anna did fine, except towards the end where she let him go on the right-wing extremism. I think she should have kept to the topic because he changed the topic. Since he changed the topic, it's obvious it's something he doesn't want to talk about, which means it's something you should talk about. Overall, I'm gonna say she gets a B+. B+, absolutely. Overall, it was a good discussion. It was a good debate. She structured her questions in a way that appealed to the right. And that is key, I believe. But yeah, B+, absolutely. And that's great for someone who doesn't do a ton of debates, really. She's not famous for being a debater. She's done a few high-profile debates. TYT is high-profile enough that they can get Dinesh D'Souza and people like that on their show, and obviously Dennis Prager as well. So yeah, I'm happy with that. Yeah.